Every December, the world talks about Santa Claus. We see his face on billboards, in movies, on Christmas cards, and in shopping malls. Children wait for him. Adults smile at the memory of him. But have you ever stopped to ask, who was Santa Claus really? Was he just a fairy tale created for children? Or was he inspired by a real person, with a real story, and a deeper meaning? Today, we're not here to judge or to ruin the magic of Christmas. We're going beyond the red suit and the reindeer. We're here to uncover the story behind the story, the history, the meaning, and the truth behind Santa Claus. Long before Santa Claus became a global icon, there lived a man named Nicholas of Myra. Saint Nicholas was a real person, a Christian bishop who lived in the 3rd and 4th centuries in what is now modern-day Turkey. He was known throughout his community not for wealth or power, but for compassion. Nicholas was deeply committed to his Christian faith. He cared for the poor, protected widows and orphans, and gave generously, often in secret. One of the most famous stories about him tells of a poor father who could not afford dowries for his daughters. Without help, the girls faced a future of slavery, or worse. Nicholas, hearing of their situation, secretly threw bags of gold through their window at night, saving their lives and their dignity. While doing this, he didn't seek attention. He didn't want credit. He gave because love demanded it. This is important to remember. Santa was never originally about gifts under a tree. He was about generosity, sacrifice, and quiet love. As centuries passed, the story of Saint Nicholas traveled across cultures and continents. In Europe, he became known as Santa Claus, celebrated for kindness and gift-giving. When Dutch settlers brought this tradition to America, the name gradually evolved into Santa Claus. By the 19th century, writers and artists began shaping Santa into a more playful mythical figure. Then came advertisements, especially in the 20th century, that cemented his modern image. The red suit, the white beard, the cheerful laugh, the flying reindeer. Popular culture transformed Santa from a humble bishop into a larger-than-life symbol of Christmas cheer. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with joy and imagination, something subtle happened along the way. Santa slowly became entertainment, then marketing, then a centerpiece of consumer culture. The message shifted from generosity to consumption. Today, Santa Claus means different things to different people. For children, he represents imagination, wonder, and excitement. That sense of magic, the belief that something good is coming, is powerful. For society, Santa has become a symbol of kindness, celebration, and seasonal joy. He reminds us, at least for a moment, to give, to smile, to think of others. For parents, Santa can be an opportunity to teach generosity, to model kindness, to talk about giving, not just receiving. But we also have to be honest. Christmas has become heavily commercialized. The pressure to buy more, spend more, and do more can overshadow the deeper meaning of the season. When gifts become the focus, we risk losing the message behind them.
From a Christian perspective, it's important to keep one thing clear. Santa Claus should never replace Christ, but he can point to Christ. Saint Nicholas lived a Christ-centered life. His generosity reflected God's generosity. His love mirrored Jesus' teachings. The Bible reminds us, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Giving is not just a holiday tradition, it's a spiritual practice. When Santa is framed as a symbol of generosity, kindness, and selfless love, he can actually reinforce Christian values rather than compete with them. The danger isn't Santa himself. The danger is forgetting the source of love that Santa was inspired by. So what should Santa Claus represent today? He should remind us to be generous, not only with money, but with time and compassion, to care for the poor, the lonely, and the forgotten, to give quietly without expecting applause or recognition, to love freely, just as we have been loved. Santa works best as a symbol, not a substitute. A symbol pointing us toward kindness, toward humility, toward love in action. For Christians, this season is more than a celebration. It is an invitation to embrace what Santa Claus was meant to represent: giving, sharing, and love without conditions. Not only to friends and family, but to those the world often forgets: the disabled, orphans, the poor, those in hospitals, those in prison, the lonely and the broken. Jesus himself said, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." When we serve the forgotten, we are serving Christ. When we give to the needy, we are honoring Christ. This is the true Santa Christians are called to reflect. Not a man in a red suit, but a heart shaped like Jesus. Behind the red suit and the reindeer, behind the stories and the songs, there is a message the world still desperately needs: kindness, generosity, love. This Christmas, maybe the greatest gift we can give isn't found under a tree. It's found in how we treat one another. Teach your children the story behind the story, and let Christmas be about Christ, not just presents. Because when love leads, Christmas becomes more than a season. It becomes a way of life.